Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into an explainer that's going to completely change how you look at the ground beneath your feet. We usually think of plumbing as, well, just pipes and water, right? But today, we're looking at the Hoover plumbing ecosystem. We're going to explore how Hoover's unique and, frankly, pretty aggressive geological landscape directly impacts the lifespan, function, and even the cost of your home's plumbing. So here's the big question we're tackling today. Why do local neighborhoods in Hoover seem to experience such incredibly specific, recurring plumbing emergencies? Seriously, whether you're living in the beautiful, mature, tree-lined streets of Bluff Park, the newer builds out in Ross Bridge, or down near the valleys of Patton Creek, you aren't just dealing with normal wear and tear. You're actually battling a highly specific geological environment. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Hoover's hidden plumbing challenges. To really understand what's happening, we've got to shift our perspective and treat the local landscape like a living ecosystem. And unfortunately, this ecosystem comes equipped with some built-in environmental enemies for your house. So, Hoover sits perfectly within the Red Mountain Ridge and Valley region, and that placement presents a total double whammy for your home. First up, it's built on expansive clay soil, which acts exactly like a giant sponge. Second, right below that, we've got limestone bedrock aquifers. And that limestone, it infuses the municipal water supply with heavy minerals, leaving us with incredibly hard water. Now, add seasonal weather into the mix, and it practically weaponizes the geography. Think about it. During Hoover's dry, hot summers, that clay soil loses moisture and severely contracts. It literally pulls away from your foundation and puts a ton of stress on your underground pipes. Then, out of nowhere, we get brief but sudden winter cold snaps that catch exposed exterior faucets totally off guard. And finally, spring storms roll in with heavy rainfall that completely overwhelms aging sump pumps and undersized drainage systems, especially if you're living near those valley floors. So, what exactly happens when you bury miles of rigid piping into this shifting, swelling, mineral-heavy earth? That brings us to Section 2, 4 common pipe problems. It's time we stop viewing these issues as random bad luck and start seeing them for what they are, geographical inevitabilities. There are 4 major, almost predictable plumbing failures that plague Hoover homes: slab leaks, corroded galvanized pipes, tree root intrusion, and water heater failure. Let's break down exactly how this local ecosystem triggers every single one of these headaches. Remember that spongy clay soil we talked about? Well, when it shifts, it bends and stresses the rigid underground copper lines until, snap, they develop pinhole slab leaks right under your foundation. But wait, it gets worse. When those clay shifts crack your sewer pipes, the moisture seeping out acts like a dinner bell. Local oak, maple, and pine trees aggressively send their roots straight into those cracks, searching for water and nutrients, which ends up completely choking your sewer lines. Now, if you live in an older, established neighborhood that was built during Hoover's rapid expansion in the 80s and 90s, you're probably facing this next issue. A lot of these homes were heavily built using galvanized steel pipes. Over time, the inner zinc coating on those pipes wears away. The result? The pipe actually starts rusting from the inside out. You're going to start noticing discolored, rusty-looking water, a massive drop in water pressure, and eventually catastrophic leaks. And what about that limestone bedrock we discussed? That creates hard water, which supercharges the buildup of sediment inside your water heater. Because of these heavy mineral deposits, standard water heaters in Hoover have their lifespans drastically slashed to just 8 to 12 years, literally. Unless, of course, you're religiously flushing them out to clear that sediment. Okay, we've talked a lot about the doom and gloom of these plumbing failures. Let's pivot to the cure. Here's Section 3, the 3-step repair process. Let's look at the structured, professional approach to tackling these localized disasters. True professionals, like the teams over at Fortress Plumbing Birmingham, utilize a highly organized 3-step methodology. It guarantees the whole repair process is totally transparent. Step 1 is diagnosis and options, meaning they find the actual root cause, not just the symptom. Step 2 is repair and testing, making sure the fix actually holds up under real pressure. And Step 3 is the walkthrough and prevention, where they teach you how to stop the ecosystem from ruining the brand new parts. And honestly, the tools are just as crucial as the process itself. Professional service in Hoover means a licensed plumber shows up in a marked, fully stocked truck. They aren't guessing where a leak is. No way. They're using infrared cameras and acoustic leak detection devices to pinpoint the exact problem area. This kind of high-tech diagnosis is what allows them to hand you firm, upfront, flat-rate pricing before they even pick up a wrench. Speaking of upfront pricing, let's demystify the financial side of things. Welcome to Section 4, Decoding Plumber Costs. The whole goal of this explainer is to turn you into a highly informed consumer. So let's break down what you're actually paying for. Standard hourly rates locally usually sit between $75 and $150 an hour, but you've got to pay close attention to emergency rates. Calling a plumber out after 5 p.m. or on a weekend can easily trigger a 25% to 50% price hike. And most importantly, always watch out for hidden costs. I'm talking about things like county permits, having to fix the drywall after they access a pipe, or even just the fees to haul away your old rusted fixtures. Now, to save some cash, you might be tempted to just DIY it, but you really have to know where to draw the line. Doing minor, safe tasks like replacing a $5 tap washer or tightening a loose supply line? Absolutely go for it. Those are great ways to save money. However, leaving certain jobs to the pros is completely non-negotiable. If you're dealing with gas lines, main shutoff valves, or major sewer repairs, you're dealing with strict safety codes. Messing that up could easily void your home insurance or worse, create a severe safety hazard for your family. Which brings us nicely to the strict rules designed to keep us safe. Section 5, the 135 Rule and Codes. Let's demystify some of the jargon and regulations that protect Hoover properties from invisible dangers. All right, let's look at something called the 135 Rule. It's a fundamental code requirement that drain pipes have to maintain a 1/4 inch per foot slope. Now, why does this matter to you? Well, remember that expansive clay soil we talked about? If that ground shifts and alters the super delicate slope, you don't just get slow-moving drains. You end up with standing water, massive clogs, and yikes, highly toxic, foul-smelling sewer gases backing up directly into your living room. Because these plumbing systems are so intricate, you have to be incredibly careful about who you hire. Here are the major red flags so you can spot a dishonest contractor from a mile away. Number 1, never accept vague estimates that don't itemize the parts. 2, walk away immediately from high-pressure sales tactics. 3, never ever pay the full amount upfront before the work even begins. And finally, be highly suspicious if a plumber refuses to actually show you the old, damaged part they supposedly just replaced. If you only take away one thing from our explainer today, let it be this. Get 3 written estimates, ask for detailed breakdowns, and always verify their Alabama state licenses. Be an informed consumer, not a panicked one. When you actually understand the geology you're up against, you are totally empowered to demand transparency, warranties, and real quality workmanship from any contractor. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought. Is your home truly prepared for the geological realities of Hoover, Alabama? Knowing what you know now about the expansive clay, those limestone aquifers, and the weaponized seasonal weather, well, maybe it's time you go check the age of your water heater or finally schedule an inspection for those aging sewer lines. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and keep asking questions.